about race.
No.
No. It's not about race.
Whoopi Goldberg just got served by ABC News for enforcing rather too sensitive ideologies about the Holocaust, and the Hollywood actress is furious. Keep watching to know more. In an interview released with the UK publication The Times, The View co-host and actress Whoopi Goldberg doubled down on her controversial comments about the Holocaust that got her suspended from the show in February when she claimed the Holocaust isn't about race. During the discussion with the Times Janice Turner, Goldberg attempted to clarify her controversial comments by again arguing that Jews aren't a race. My best friend said, "Not for nothing there is no box on the census for the Jewish race. So that leads me to believe that we're probably not a race," Goldberg, whose real name is Karen Elaine Johnson, said, still claiming that it wasn't originally about race. Whoopi Goldberg is being criticized once more for making untrue statements regarding the Holocaust. The actor and The View co-host reaffirmed her views that the Holocaust wasn't originally about race in an interview that was published with the Sunday Times of London. Approximately 10 months ago, Goldberg initially made the public statements during an episode of The View, asserting that the Holocaust isn't about race, but rather inhumanity to man. She later expressed regret and received a 2-week suspension from the show as dished by ABC News president Kim Godwin. But what exactly did she say? Well, according to Goldberg, there is disagreement over whether Judaism is a race or a religion. The interviewer on the show then brought up how the Holocaust, which killed an estimated 6 million Jews, occurred because the Nazis saw it as a matter of race. "That's the killer, isn't it?" Goldberg responded. "The oppressor is telling you what you are. Why are you believing that they're Nazis? Why believe what they're saying?" For those unversed, the laws of the Nazi era that expressly targeted Jews were then brought up in the conversation. In the first 6 years of his administration, Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime published more than 400 laws and rules targeting Jews, according to the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. The legislative measures first restricted Jewish people's participation in public life, and after a short time, the Jewish population was separated from the rest of Germany and required to declare their Jewish identity. Furthermore, it wasn't just imposed on those who followed the religion. The Memorial Museum claims that this included people who had converted to Christianity as well as those who had Jewish grandparents. Despite this, Goldberg insisted the Holocaust wasn't originally about race.
No, it's not about race.
No, it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
She continued, "Remember who they were killing first. They were not killing racial, they were killing physically. They were killing people they considered to be mentally defective. And then they made this decision," she said, later adding, "You could not tell a Jew on a street. You could find me. You couldn't find them. That was the point I was making. But you would have thought that I'd taken a big old stinky dump on the table, but naked." Goldberg also said in an interview with the Sunday Times that the Holocaust wasn't originally focused on race. "Remember who they were killing first?" she said. "They were not killing racial, they were killing physical. They were killing people they considered to be mentally defective. And then they made this decision." Meanwhile, ADL head Jonathan Greenblatt said in a statement, "Whoopi Goldberg's comments about the Holocaust and race are deeply offensive and incredibly disappointing, especially given that this is not the first time she had made remarks like this. In a moment when anti-Semitic incidents have surged across the U.S., she should realize that making such ignorant statements can have real consequences." He added, "Germans considered themselves the master race and claimed all other non-Aryans were inferior. This is a trope we still hear echoed by white supremacists in the U.S. Today, as a result of the racial Nuremberg laws, 6 million Jews, including at least 1.5 million Jewish children, who were slaughtered in the Nazi gas chambers and death camps during the Holocaust, as were millions of others." Greenblatt said Goldberg should apologize immediately for her comments and to learn more about the true nature of anti-Semitism and how it was the driving force behind the systemic slaughter of millions. He added, "She shouldn't do it for the ratings, she should do it simply because it's the right thing to do." Failure to address the issue would raise serious questions about her sincerity and solidarity with her Jewish viewers and all those who experience any form of hate. But Greenblatt isn't the only one who has frowned upon Goldberg's claims. David Baddiel also says there are so many issues with Whoopi Goldberg Holocaust comments. Comedian and writer Baddiel appeared on the ITV series to talk about the controversy surrounding the Sister Act star, who has been suspended from The View for saying the Holocaust isn't about race. Speaking further about Goldberg's comments, Baddiel told GMB hosts Susanna Reid and Adel Ray, "The problem with it is there are so many issues, and I'm a fan of Whoopi Goldberg's. But there are so many issues with what she said. It does reveal an awful lot about the confusions people have around anti-Semitism that are explored in my book. One of the principal things going on here is the resistance to the idea that anti-Semitism is racism." He continued, "What does Whoopi Goldberg think it is? What a lot of people think it is religious intolerance."
The problem with it is there's so many issues, and I'm a fan of Whoopi Goldberg, always been a fan of her.
but there are so many issues what she's saying. It does reveal an awful lot about the confusions that people have around anti-Semitism that are explored in my book. And one of the principal things going on here is the resistance to the idea that anti-Semitism is racism. And I think, what does Whoopi Goldberg think it is? Well, I think what a lot of people think it is religious intolerance. And the problem with that is, I'm an atheist and the Gestapo would have shot me tomorrow. My great uncle Arno, who died in the Warsaw Ghetto, was not an observant Jew. And indeed, it's not just the Holocaust. Now, neo-Nazis marching with torches saying the Jews were...
Let's see if the fans agree. A fan wrote, "Not quite sure that she understands the extent of Nazi occupation. It was fundamentally against Jewish religion to deny your faith when questioned. So yes, you could easily tell who was Jewish." Another fan added, "Karen wants the stage to herself when the truth is many people have suffered injustices since civilizations evolved. Her selfishness and narcissism is horrible." While a fan angrily wrote, "This coming from someone that changed their last name to Goldberg for the sole reason she thought it would up her chances of being successful in Hollywood. Beyond disgusting." And another fan agreed, "I'm so disappointed in Whoopi. The WEF is trying to delete people, take away freedom to live. Why would anyone, let alone Whoopi, want that? As the elite, they will be controlled too. The elite haven't thought this through." However, some fans believe that there may be sense in what she said, as a fan wrote. "Perhaps she's thinking out loud. There is some logic in what she's saying, and honest conviction to back it up. We are allowed to change our minds so long as we account for what we've said. The way the media frames questions is a minefield. Thank God that the Nazis didn't have DNA." And another fan added, "I agree to a point. Someone can have a particular hate for a group. They did use the Jewish people to agitate enough to start war, but after, everyone was targeted. My family on both sides, mom, dad, other groups never get mentioned. It is more about power, ideology, including her." While another fan concluded, "Whoopi has right to free speech and I'm begging at a deal to listen. Initially, Jewish-owned businesses were attacked. Initially, it started as a war on largest percent of the German wealthy. Whoopi is correct. Goldberg deserves an apology." Meanwhile, Goldberg apologized for her remarks on social media. She offered an on-air apology on an episode of The View, with Greenblatt as a guest on the broadcast. "So yesterday on our show, I misspoke," Goldberg said at the top of the show. "I said that the Holocaust wasn't about race and it was instead about man's inhumanity to man. But it is indeed about race because Hitler and the Nazis considered the Jews to be an inferior race. Now, words matter and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected. I also stand with the Jewish people, as they know, and as you all know, because I've always done that."
A lot of people,
Yes.
which was never, ever my intention. I thought we were having a discussion because I feel, being black, when we talk about race, it's a very different thing to me. So I said that I felt that the Holocaust wasn't about race. And people got very angry, and still are angry. I mean, I'm getting, all of the mail from folks, and the very real anger, because people feel very differently. But I thought it was a salient discussion because, as a black person, I think of race as being something that I can see. So I see you, and I know what race you are. And the discussion was about how I felt about that. I felt that it was really more about man's inhumanity.
However, Greenblatt, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, who previously accepted Goldberg's apology, spoke out to denounce the Until Star's newest remarks, calling them deeply offensive. Whoopi Goldberg's feedback in regards to the Holocaust and race are extremely disappointing, particularly provided that this isn't the primary time she had made remarks like this. He mentioned in a press release to the Wrap on Deck, 27. In a second, when anti-Semitic incidents have surged throughout the US, she ought to notice that making such ignorant statements can have actual penalties. This has made some fans conclude that Goldberg is walking through the same path Kanye West walked. A fan wrote, "Too many black celebrities have been letting the mask slip about their feelings for the Jewish people that it's more than a coincidence. There's an anti-Semitism that seems rife in the community." Another fan added, "I wonder if Whoopi Goldberg will be able to keep her job and bank after spinning the block on a Kanye talking point everyone found offensive." So Kanye West is blacklisted and Whoopi Goldberg gets a pass from the mainstream left-wing media. I'm not saying Kanye was right or wrong, but the same standard should be applied to everyone. A fan concluded, "Only time would tell what would befall Goldberg's career with the philosophical scandal. Till then, see you in the next video."